Good morning. I am the first reporter of Group 2 about IP's communities in Luzon. First, Ifugao. Ifugao. The Ifugao are among the ethnic groups living in northern Luzon, particularly in the Cordillera region. The term Ifugao is derived from Ipugo, which means earth, people, mortals, or humans. As distinguished from spirit and deities, it also means from the hill, as Pogo means hell. The term Igorot or Igolate was the term used by Spanish conquerors for mountain people. The Ifugaos, however, preferred the name Ifugao. Ifugao culture revolves around rice, which is considered a prestige crop. There is an elaborate and complex array of rice culture feats inextricably linked with taboos and intricate agricultural rights from rice cultivation to rice consumption. Ayun, ang kultura ng mga Ifugao ay umiikot sa palay, yung pamumuhay nila na tinituring nilang prestihiyo na pananim. Ah, Meron silang detalyado at komplikadong kapistahan sa kultura ng bigas. Sa mga bawat salimuot ng mga ritual at sa agrikultura mula sa rice cultivation nila sa pagkonsumo ng bigas. Yun siya yung kultura nila. Buntok. The Bontoc live on the banks of the Chicago River in the Central Mountain Province on the island of Luzon. They speak the Bontoc language. They formerly practiced headhunting and had distinctive body tattoos. So, yung tattoo nila is may tatlong klase. Una, the Bontoc describe three types of tattoos. Una is chaklag, the tattooed chest of the head taker. Second, pongo, the tattooed arm of men and women. 3. Fatik. For all other tattoos of both sex, women are tattooed on the arms only. Facial tattoo are sign of a warrior. So, ayan, nakikita nyo naman dyan sa picture ko yung mga tattoo nila, yung example. Ayan. So, next. The pre-Christian Bontoc belief system centers on a hierarchy of spirit. The highest being is supreme deity called Lumawig. Lumawig personifies the force of nature and is the legendary creator, friend, and teacher of the Bontoc. A hereditary class of priests hold various monthly ceremonies for this deity, for their crops and weather, and for healing. So, next. The Bontoc also believe in the Anito spirit of the dead who must be consulted before anything important is done. Ancestral Anitos are invented to family feast when a death occurs to ensure the well-being of the deceased soul. This is by offering some small amount of food to show that they are invited and not forgotten. So yung mga buntok is naniniwala sila sa anito o yung sa mga kaluluwa na patay. Kung baga halimbawa sa atin parang ganito yan. Di ba tuwing November, araw ng mga patay sa atin, nagdadala tayo ng bagay. So that ang baga sa part na yun sa nakawalian ng mga buntok is the same din sa atin na sa pagdating sa kultura is may pagkakapariho din. Ibaloy. The Ibaloy, also Ibaloy or Nabuloy, are one of the indigenous people of the Philippines who live mostly in the southern part of Benguet. Located in the Cordillera of northern Luzon, the Ibaloy people were traditionally agrarian society. Many of the Ibaloy people continue with her agriculture and rice cultivation. Kumbaga, the same lang sila ng Ipugo na kinabubuhay, yung kinabubuhay nila is palay din, yung pagsasaka, kumbaga sa atin. The largest fest of the Ibaloy is the Peshet, a fest mainly public sponsored by people of pride and wealth. Peshet can last for weeks and involves the killing and sacrifice of dozens of animals. Kumbaga yung nagpaparada sila, may mga dala silang bilaw, yun siya. Yun naman nasa picture naman. Tapos, kilala din sila sa sayaw. One of the more popular dance of the Ibaloy is the Bendian dance, participated in by hundreds of male and female dancers. So, nagsasayaw din sila, hindi lang sila nakapokus sa kultura, sa kinabubuhay nila. Kumbaga, nagsasayaw din sila, or kumbaga, in other word, isa din siya sa kultura natin. Snig. The snig, also snig or apayao, live at the northwesterly end of the northern Luzon in the upper half of Cordillera province of Apayao. The term snag derives from a combination of is meaning reside and unag meaning interior. Those, it means people who live in land. So, yan yung meaning ng snig na word. So, dito natin siya matatagpuan. Ang mga snig. Snig are also found in the eastern part of the province of Ilocos Norte, specifically the municipalities of Adams, Carasi, Dumanig, Solsona, and Pidig, and northwestern part of province Cagayan, specifically of the municipalities of Santa Prasidis, Claveria, and Sanchez Mera. So, dyan po natin sila matatagpuan yung mga snig. Snig were described as of slender and graceful stature, with that were kindly, hospitable, and generous manners, possessed with the spirit of self-reliance and courage, and clearly artistic in their temperament. The snag's ancestors are believed have been the Proto-Austronesians who came from South China thousands of years ago. So, yung mga snig is, may larawan sila natin na mababait, matulungin, ganun. Tsaka, hindi sila yung sabing matapang, ganun. Napaka-graceful nila. So, yun. Ang kanila namang binubuhay is, as a dry rice farmer, the male head of a household annually clears a fresh section of tropical forest where his wife will plant and harvest their rice. Ethnic women also cook the meals, gather wild vegetables, and wave bamboo mats and baskets. While the men cut timber, build houses, and take extended hunting and fishing trips. So, ayan yung mga kinabubuhay ng snig or itnig. Often when a wild pig or a deer is killed, its meat is squared on bamboo and distributed to neighbors and relatives. Nearly all snake households also harvest a small group of coffee trees since the main cash crops of the area is coffee. So, naghahunting din pala sila ng mga baboy damo. Tapos, yung snake is yung may part sila na may kapihan. Kaya, yung mga tao doon nag-harvest ng mga kape. Kasi yun talaga yung pinaka-main crops or yung kinabubuhay nila doon. So, yun. Kalinga. The Kalinga inhabiting the drainage areas of the Middle Chicago River in the Kalinga province, the Kalingas are noted for their strong sense of tribal awareness and the peace pacts they have made among themselves. Kalinga are also known as Lemos or Lemos Liwan Kalinga. They speak the Kalinga and Lemos language. So, ayan sila sa picture, nakikita niyo naman. May mga tattoo sila, tapos parang bahaganin. Tapos yung mga suot nila is yung makukulan. They practice both wet and dry rice farming. They also develop an institution of peace pacts called Budong, which has minimized traditional warfare and headhunting and service as a mechanism for the initiation, maintenance, renewal, and reinforcement of kinship and social ties. So, ayan yung mga kinabubuhay ng mga kalinga. Yung pagsasaka sa tuyo at saka sa yung farming talaga. Kumbaga sa atin yung pagsasaka yung may irrigation or patubig at saka yung tinatawag natin na pagkakaingin. Yung ganun sa kanila. The Kalinga are divided into southern and northern groups. The latter is considered the most heavily ornamented people of the northern Philippines. Kalinga society is very kinship-oriented and relatives are held responsible for avenging any injury done to a member. Disputes are usually settled by the regional leaders who listen to all sides and then impose fines on the guilty party. These are not formal council meetings but carry a good deal of authority. So, ganun sila sa kanilang kultura. Kumbaga, parang nagkakaisa talaga sila. Parang oriented talaga sila. Kung may mga hindi pagkakaunawaan, pinagdesisyonan. Kumbaga sa atin, sa korte, pinagdesisyonan siya ng maayos. Yung ganun. Parang nasa batas nila, ganun. May sarili kasi silang batas. Kankanaye. The Kankanaye domain includes Western Mountain Province, Northern Benguet and Southern Earth Ilocos. Like most Igorot ethnic groups, the Kankanaye built sloping terraces to maximize farm space in the rugged terrain of the Cordilleras. The Kankanaye of Western Mountain Province from the municipalities of Sagada and Bisao identified themselves as part of a tribe called Apalay or Aplay. So, ayan po sila sa picture. Yung suot din nila is makukulay. Halos lahat naman kasi ng mga tribo sa atin is yung mga kasuotan talaga nila dati is makukulay talaga. So, yung kankanay ay may dalawang famous or two famous institution of the Kankanay of Mountain Province are the Pide, the Dormitory, and Civic Center. Yung Dapay is para lang siya sa mga kalalakihan. Yung Igban, the Girls' Dormitory, where courtship between a young men and women to. Okay, so, ayan siya makikita nyo sa larawan. The Kankanay differ in the way they dress. Women's dress of the Soft dialect has a color combination of black, white, and red. The design of the upper attire is crisscrossed style of the black, white, and red colors. The skirt or tapis is a combination of stripe of black, white, and red. So, ayan yung kasuotan nila. Yung design. High dialect women dress are composed of mainly red and black with a little white style. As for the skirt or tapis, which is mostly called bakget and gating. So, ayan yung nakikita niyo yung suot ng babae sa larawan. Yan siya. The main word G-string known as a one is for the kankanay of Besau and Sagada. The design of the ones may vary according to social status or municipality. So, ayan, nakabase lang pala siya sa lugar o munisipyo kung saan sila ninirahan yung kasuotan ng mga lalaki. Limbawa, sa Bisao and Sagada, yan po yung design ng kanilang mga kasuotan. Kankanay major dance include tayaw, patong, takik, a wedding dance, and balangbang. The tayaw is a community dance that is usually done in wedding. It may be also danced by the ibaloy but has a different style. So, hindi lang pala yung kankanay yung sumasayaw ng sayaw na yun. Kumbaga, sinasayaw din siya ng ibaloy. Pero, kumbaga yung pagdating sa action is magkakaiba sila. Patong. Also, a community dance from Mountain Province which every municipality has its own style. Balangbang is the modernized word for the word patong. There are also some other dances like the sakotin, pinanyuan, wedding dance, and boogie-boogie courtship dance. Kankanaye houses are built like other Igorot houses which reflect their social status. So, yung kankanay at saka yung Igorot is may pagkakatulad ng design ng bahay. Yun siya. Then, yun yung mga sayaw nila. Kumbaga, yun yung mga sayaw nila halimbawa for wedding or yung pinaka-dance talaga nila sa kanilang lugar, ganun, or community. Aitas are called negritos for their dark skin and kinky hair. They landed on the archipelago more than 30,000 years ago and are thought to be the earliest inhabitants of the Philippines. The negritos share some physical features with African pygmy population. So, ayan yun. Negrito various Aita groups in northern Luzon are known as Pugot or Pugot, a name designated by their Ilocano-speaking neighbors and which is the colloquial term of those with darker complexions. In Ilocano, the word also means goblin or forest spirit. However, this term are considered by fellow Negritos or of northern Luzon as inappropriate and offensive. So, yung mga Negrito ay tinatawag na pugot. Okay. So, dyan din natin matatagpuan sa northern Luzon ang mga Negrito. Ang Negrito ay hindi lang as in Negrito. Yung Negrito is merong Ita, Aita, may mga ganun siya. May iba't ibang uri or lahi yung mga Negrito. So, language. All Aita communities have adopted the language of their Austronesian Filipino neighbors, which have sometimes diverged over time to become different language. These include in order of number of speaker, Mag-Indi, Mag-Antisi, Abilen, Ambala, and Maravileno. So, yan yung mga iba't ibang language or dialect na ginagamit nila ng mga Negritos. So, dito naman tayo sa religion. Religion, there are different views on the dominant character of the Aita religion who believe they are monotheistic, agreed that various Aita tribes believe in a supreme being who rules over lesser spirit or deities, with the Aita of Mount Pinatubo worshipping Apuna. The Aitas are also animist. For example, the Pinatubo Aita believe in the environment spirits such as Anitu and Kamana. They believe that good and evil spirit inhabit the environment such as the spirit of the river, sea, sky, mountain, hill, valley, and other place. So, yan siya yung sa religion nila. Kumbaga yung mga Aita's nag-aanito or nagre-ritual din sila. Ganun sa religion nila. So, ito naman tayo sa pananamit ng mga Negrito. Nowadays, clothing. Nowadays, where is the Aita wearing traditional clothing, the bahag, lion cloth for men, and warp-around skirt for women. They now use urban attire. Nomadic Aita build temporary settlements made of indigenous materials such as forked stick, palm or banana leaves, kogon, and bamboo. Ganun yung sa iba. Food. Ito yung mga nakagawian nilang pagkain. Baranus, bitatawa, stew being prepared by Ita tribesmen. Practices. Aita women are skilled in weaving, plating, and producing household containers, rattan, hammocks, and winnowing basket of excellent quality. Aita women are known around the country as expert of the herbal medicine. So, kumbaga sila, kilala sila sa panggagamot gamit yung mga herbal, yung mga halaman. Yun. Yung mga Aita is marunong sa ganun. Aliment make armlet. They also produce raincoats made of palm leaves, whose base is surrounded the neck of the wearer, and those topmost part spreads like a fan
all around the body. So, yung mga lalaki naman is gumagawa ng harmlet. Kumbaga, ito yung raincoat na ginagamit para hindi sila mabasa ng ulan, something na ganun, o hindi sila mainitan. So, pagdating naman sa arts a traditional form of visual art is body's sacrification. The artists intentionally won the skin on their back, arms, breast, leg, hand, calves, and abdomen, and then they irritate the wounds with fire, lime, and other means to form scars. Magkaroon sila ng sugat din. Other decorated disfigurements include the chipping of the teeth with the use of a file. The Dumagat modified their teeth during late puberty. The teeth are dyed black a few years afterwards. The Aita generally use ornaments typical of people living in subsistence economics. Flower and leaves are used as air plug for certain occasions. Necklace and neck bands of braided rattan incorporated with wild pig breastless and are frequently worn. Kumbaga yung sa baboy, sa baboy ramo, yung parang may sang so ginagawa nilang pendant or yung nilalagay nila sa mga kwintas nila, yung design ganyan. So, about music of Ita. The Ita have a musical heritage consisting of various types of agong semblance composed of large, hanging, suspended, or held, bossed noved gongs, which act is drawn without any accompanying melodic instrument. Gongs, yun yung parang pinupukpok yung sa music nila. Negrito, the Ita. The Ita Negrito ethnic group are mostly found in western and central Visayas. Large concentration are found in Aklan, Capiz, Antique, and Iloilo on Panay Islands, and the biggest group is in Iloilo. There are also an Ati population in the islands of Guimaras and Negros, comprising Negros Occidental and Negros Oriental. Few Aitas still speak their traditional language, as it has been replaced by Kinaraya, which is spoken in Antique, some parts of Iloilo. So, dito natin matatagpuan yung Ita sa part ng Western and Central Visayas, lalo sa Guimaras, ganun. Pero pag sa naman kasi hindi naman sila yung sa city, kundi parang nasa bundok pa din sila, regarding lang may ibang ganun naman na sa kumbaga hindi naman siya masyadong bundok sa part ng Guimaras yung mga Ita. Yung iba nakakahalubilo na din sa mga Ilonggo, ganun. Tsaka parang improve na yung environment nila dun sa Guimaras. Language. Unlike the Ita of the North, who speak symbolic language, the Ita speak a Visayan language known as Inati. As of 1980, the speakers of Inati number at about 1,500. Visayas and Kinaraya are also common use. Yun yung mga ginagamit talaga na salita nila. Religion. The IT practice a form of amanism that involves good and evil spirit. These spirits are nature spirits that often guard rivers, the sea, the sky, as well as the mountains. Sometimes they may cause disease or comfort. The IT from Negros refer to them as taglugar or tagapuyo, which literally means inhabiting a place. Christianity has also been adopted due to less isolation and more contact with outsiders. So, ayun yung religion naman ng ate. Ate, I mean. Clothing, sa pananamit naman, not so long ago, like other negritos in the country, their clothing was simply with women wearing apron skirts, sometimes made out of back cloth, and men wearing lion clothes. However, today t-shirt, pants, and rubber sandals are common as daily clothes. Jewelry is simply in nature. Some jewelry objects involve plants such as flowers, while others use animal bones, particularly the teeth of pigs. Yun. Practice. Artists cultivate a variety of crops for their livelihood. Tobacco is bartered for the products of their Visayan neighbors. During September and October, they work at the sugar plantation of Christian landowners. The other means of subsistence are hunting, fishing, handicrafts, and bow and arrow making, work as household help and midwives, and practicing herbal medicine as herbularios. Ati are known in Panay as practitioners of herbal medicine. Local often seek their help in removing lesions from a person's body. So, ayan yung mga practice nila or nakaugalian nila, yung pamumuhay nila ng mga IT. The IT are the central attraction of the Ati-Atihan Festival, a festival named in their honor. It is said the festival is held to commemorate the first appearance of the Roman Catholic Church and the Spaniard in the province of Aklan. According to oral tradition, the Ati helped the Spaniards conquer the native Visayas, and as a reward, the tribe was given a statue of the Santo Niño. Yan. Negrito, commonly referred to as Negrito, Agtas, do belong to the Negrito ethnolinguistic group. There are many Agta tribes scattered over regions I to V in the islands of Luzon, the Kasiguran, Dumagat. Agta can be found in the eastern coast of Aurora Province in central Luzon region. So, dyan po natin sila matatagpuan yung mga Agta or yung Negrito. Agta are characteristically short, dark-skinned, and kinky-haired, thick lips, and a small nose. Their traditional clothing is tabi skirt for women and bahag, rich cloth for men. Breastfeeding mothers wear ovan, a piece of fabric slung from the shoulder. Most men scare their bodies using various designs that have been passed down to them by their ancestors. Today, most Agtas have abandoned their tribal attire for civilized clothes. So, ayan yun naman yung mga kasuotan ng agta. Tsaka kapag may mga anak sila is breastfeeding talaga lahat. Ganun. Traditional. Agta house are built in cluster and made from indigenous materials such as bamboo, wood, talahib, or kogon, coconut leaves, and abacat bark. Agta, as a young 14, marry the partner chosen by their parents. So, sa edad nilang 14 years old is pinapakasal na sila ng kanilang magulang or hinahanapan na sila ng mapapangasawa nila. Kumbaga nasa kultura na yun nila, kailangan pag 14 years old ka na, kailangan is makasal ka na kahit hindi mo kilala yung papakasalan mo. Hunting is their main means of subsistence. They use pointed stick called galud to kill birds, wild deer, monkeys, and wild pigs. Agta exchange part of the meat and some forest product for starchy food and other goods with nervy farmers. Their other traditional means of livelihood are farming and fishing. Today, however, many Agtas take on seasonal jobs such as copra and charcoal making and gold panning. Okay. Yung mga agtans naman is maliban sa sasaka at pangingisda nila, nagkukopras din sila at saka nangunguling. Yun yung mga kinabuhay nila at saka yung gold panning is parang naghuhukay ng mga ginto or ganun something. The Agtas worship the spirit of their ancestor or Anitus. Their rituals include dance and depiction of hunting movements. They have no formal leaders. The old males in their communities only serve as consultant for arbitration purposes. Yun yung mga naman nila sa spirit yun.
We have an additional tribes in Luzon region. First, we have the Ilonggo tribes. The Bugkalot, also Ilonggot or Ibilaw, are a tribe inhabiting the southern Sierra Madre and Caraballo Mountains on the east side of Luzon in the Philippines. Primarily, the provinces of Nueva Vizcaya and Nueva Ecija, and along the mountain border between the provinces of Quirino and Aurora. Ilonggo tribe are notable for their extreme aggressiveness and cultural conservatism. Their continual warfare has resulted in an egress of population from the home area to the extent that more Ilonggot currently live in the provinces as far south as Zamboangas than in their traditional lands. Bugkalot, Ilonggot, is an indigenous peoples which were known as headhunters, who also love arts, nature, and their culture. Aside from headhunter, Bugkalot men love hunting wild animals, fish, for food, while women are in charge in plant cultivation. The next one is Gadang. Gadang comes from the word ga, meaning heat, and dang, meaning burn. This likely alludes to the fact that the Gadang are generally darker of skin than other Cordillera peoples. Many Gadang live in the highlands of southeastern Kalinga Apayao and eastern Bontoc and Isabela provinces. The Gadang are linguistically identified ethnic group resident in the watershed of the Cagayan River in northern Luzon, Philippines. Gadang speakers were recently reported to number as many as 30,000. The Christianized lowland Gadang are now almost indistinguishable from the Ilocano and Ibanag people of the valley, but the Highlanders still maintain a unique culture, including what is perhaps the most opulent attire on the island of Luzon, involving plentiful beads and precious stones. The next one is Tinggian tribe. The Tinggian are a Philippine tribe in the mountain province of Abra in northwestern Luzon. Their settlement has extended as far as Ilocosur. They are distinct from the Igorot tribe, who are their neighbors, although intermarriage between the two groups has become a common. What is the culture of Tinggian? Tinggian life, as projected in the cycle of life-death, life after death, is characterized by the spirit of community, linkage, and connectedness. They shared a common life and guided by a common percepts, ug ugali, as regard to politics, social, economic, and spiritual life. We have here the summarized Indigenous people groups in Luzon. Negrito groups in Luzon are Agta, Alta, Arta, Ata, Aita, Batak, Dumagat, and Rimuntado. The next one is Cordillera people. We have Buntok, Ibaloy, Ifugao, Itnig or also known as Tinggian, Iwak, Kalanguya, Kalinga, Kankanaey. Indigenous people in Cagayan Valley, we have Bogkalot, Gadang, Ibanag, Isinay, Itawis, Malawig, and Yugad. Ibanagic group, we have Itbayatin, Ivatan, Ibatan, and we have also the Mangyan of Mindoro Island. We have Alangan, Bangon, Buhid, Gubatnon, Hanunuo, Mangyan, Traya, Ratagnon, Tadyawan, Taubuid. The last one is the indigenous peoples of Palawan. We have the Kinay, Palauan, Tagbanwa, Taot Bato. We also have the famous story of Makling Dilag in Palawan.
Babanam kevalam, 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 Babanam, 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 Babanam kevalam, 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 Babanam, 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 Babanam kevalam, 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 Babanam
Let's have a brief discussion about the history of Visayas region. The Visayas or Visayan Islands are one of the three principal geographical divisions of the Philippines, along with the Mindanao and Luzon. It consists of several islands, primarily surrounding the Visayan Sea. Residents are known as the Visayans. The major islands of the Visayas are Panay, Negros, Cebu, Bohol, Leyte, and Samar. The region may also include the islands of Romblon and Masbate, whose population identify as Visayan. The history of Visayas dates back to the 12th century, before the Spaniards were even aware of the existence of this part of the world. The earliest settlers of the island were Austronesians and Negritos, who came to Panay and its surrounding islands after neighboring empires had collapsed. In 14th century, the Arabs began venturing into the Malay archipelago, so that eventually Muslim communities were formed in the region. The Visayas was the first region of the Philippines to come into contact with the Spaniards in the 16th century. It was 1521 when explorer led by Magellan arrived on the island known as Sumonhon in eastern Samar, and then later claimed the island for the Kingdom of Spain. He named the island Islas de San Lazaro and even established friendly ties with several local leaders, the most prominent which was Uraha Humabon, known as one of the first natives to be converted to Roman Catholicism. There are a lot of natives who did not take kindly into invasion and reintroduction of the cultures. In 18th and 19th century, the natives have started getting fed up with the colonization because revolutions have grown more prominent in the history of Visayas than it was in other regions of the Philippines. Visayan natives also had a hand in the Philippine-American War, the island of Negros starting the revolution. After the Second World War, the region became an established community with a proper form of local government. Native people started to spread all over Visayas region. Many of their traditions and cultures we still see to this day. Even uses of different language included Hiligaynon or Ilonggo and Waray. Other language are Aklanon, Kinaraya, and Kapisnon. Filipino, the national language based on Tagalog, is widely comprehensible but seldom used. As of today, Visayas region is known for its world-class tourist spots. The people themselves are also a treasure worthy of recognition, full of diversity in culture. The Visayans are a bunch of interesting people when grouped together. Is one of the largest ethnic groups in the world at 33 million natives. The following are the beautiful ethnicities found in the Visayas. Halina tuklasin ang Aklanon tribe. Aklanon is a Spanish word for the people of what is now Aklan province in Panay. The people had thought the Spaniards were asking the name of the local river, which was actually Akian. The entire island was supposedly purchased from the local Aitas. The Ati group still lived there by 10 datus from Borneo who brought them with a syllabic script. Where is it located? Aklanon formed the majority in the province of Aklan and Panay. They are also found in other Panay provinces such as Iloilo, Antique, Capiz, as well as Romblon. Like the other Visayans, Aklanon have also found their way to Metro Manila, Mindoro, and even the United States. Aklanon are known as piña weavers. It is the top producer of the piña fabric in the Philippines. This sheer delicate cloth typically used to make Barong Tagalog, the country national costume, is the product of a long, painstakingly and intricate process of weaving fiber from pineapple leaves. They are known by their devotion to Santo Niño or Child Jesus. Aklanons also practice procession during religious holidays such as the Salubong. Most Aklanons engage in agriculture, which those in the coastal areas engage in fishing. They also make handicrafts. The early Aklanon believed in many gods. Bulalakaw, who lived in a mountain called Madyaas. A chief goddess was called Laon, after whom Mount Canlaon is named. There were mediators to the gods, also said to the first priest. Bangot Banwa, who prayed for good harvest. Magindalon, who prayed for sick person. And Suliran, who performed the marriage ceremonies. Manunubo was the good spirit of the sea. Although the majority of the Aklanon population is now Christian, belief in the power of Babaylan has not completely disappeared. In pre-Christian times, the Babaylan played an important political, social, religious, and cultural role. They advised the Datu and physical healers of the community. Reverence of patron saints has not completely replaced in the beliefs of Encanto, or supernatural beings. Pilhi are evil spirits, and the aswang are the witches. In pre-Spanish times, a significant religious ceremony was held every 7 years to pray for the strengthening of the universe. The people of Irong-Irong, Hamtik and Aklan convened near a spring whose waters flowed back to the mountains and made sacrifices and offerings for 7 days. Aklanon do have a lot of festivals. First, the Ati-Atihan Festival in Kalibo. The Ati-Atihan Festival is a Philippine festival held annually in January in honor of Santo Niño, the Holy Child or Infant Jesus, and several towns of the province of Aklan. Panay Island. The biggest celebration is held during the third Sunday of January in the town of Kalibo, the province capital. The name Ati-Atihan means to imitate the Ati people. The festival consists the religious processions and street parades, showcasing theme, float, dancing groups wearing colorful costumes, marching bands, and people sporting face and body paints. The street parade is known as sadsad, which is also what the local call their way of dancing, where the foot is momentarily dragged along the ground in tune to the beat played by the marching bands. It has inspired other Philippine festivals, such as Dinagyang of Iloilo and Sinulog of Cebu. Thus, it is known as the mother of all Philippine festivals. The second one is Nabas Barrio Festival. Nabas Barrio Festival started in the year of 2003 and is celebrated to commemorate the feast day of Saint Isidore the Farmer, the town's patron saint. Barrio is a common name of pandan, is a palm tree that abundantly grow in the coastal communities in western Aklan and parts of Antique, and it is a brown color. Women in barrios are mostly weavers who are adept in the cutting and drying of barrio leaves and turn them into handicrafts, mats, baskets, and other items. It is festival showcasing the unique skills of Nabasnon weavers of bags, mats, and hats made of indigenous barrio leaves and said to be the fast-growing industry in the municipality. The highlight of the celebration is a dance performance by local talents and ingenuity accompanied with the aboriginal rhythm beat of the drums or bamboo instruments. Town folks dance on the streets of the town, all dressed in indigenous barrio-made costume. The next one is Bogna Festival. Launched in 2007, Bogna in Tangalan is a festival held annually showcasing the municipality's different locally made products as well as its various ecotourism destinations such as Marine Sanctuary and Coral Garden, Agfa Point, Campo Verde, Jawili Falls, Bughawi Beach in the town's reforestation project. Bogna is a local term for blessing, and quite appropriately is the name of Tangalan's community-based ecotourism program. Bogna Tanggalan means blessing of Tanggalan, features the best Tanggalan has to offer from waterfalls and beaches to food and hospitality. The last one is Kaliugyon Festival. A coined word combining kalipay means happiness and Hiliugyon means unity is held every December 31 to January 1 of each year in Libacao, Aklan, where local folks, foreign, and local tourists clad with customized native apparel dancing in the streets and merrymaking to drive away the evil spirits as the new year comes. The merrymaking started in the year of 1987. Wondering what are the clothes of Aklanon? So as what I mentioned before, Aklanon are known as piña weavers. So they have the Peña village, the top producer of piña fabric in the Philippines. It is typically used to make barong Tagalog as what you see in the picture. What was the language of Aklanon or Akianon? They are also known as Bisaya. Binisaya nga Aklanon or Inaklanon or simply Aklan is an Austronesian language of Bisaya subgroup spoken by the Aklanon people in the province of Aklan on the island of Panay in the Philippines. Its unique feature among the other Bisaya language is close mid-back, unrounded vowel occurring as part of diphthongs and traditionally written with the letter E, such as the autonyms Akian and Akianon. However, this phoneme is also present in other but geographically scattered and distant Philippines languages, namely Itbayat, Isnig, Manobo, Samal, and Sagada. The Malaynon dialect is 93% lexically similar to Aklanon and retain the I sounds, which elsewhere are often pronounced as R. The Bahaynon dialect has shortened version of Aklanon words. As you can see here in the table, there are samples English term, Aklanon, and its transcription. Animal for Aklanon is sapat, fish is isda, bird pispis, dog ayam, lost koto, snake sawa, and word for worm is uod. Let's proceed to Waray tribe. The word Waray means none or nothing or not. In Samar, the Waray are known as Samareños. Their native language is called Waray. It is the fifth most spoken native language in the Philippines with more than 3 million native speakers. The Waray are the descendants of Austronesian-speaking seafarers settled in the Philippine archipelago beginning the Iron Age. In 1521, the Warays of the east coast of Samar, who called themselves Ibabaunon, were the first Filipinos to be sighted by Europeans under the leadership of Ferdinand Magellan. Where is it located? The Waray originate from eastern Visayas region of the Philippines or the modern-day provinces of Leyte, Samar, and Biliran. Waray stereotypes include being musical, happy-go-lucky, laid-back, heavy drinkers, and swift to pick fights. Their culture is basically in Visayan. The waray-waray are often stereotyped as brave warriors, as popularized in the tagline, "Basta ang waray, hindi uurong sa away." Waray never back down from a fight. Farming and fishing is the main livelihood. The waray is imbued with courage, which is quality of being brave. They are very well known to have the ability to face danger, difficulty, uncertainty, or pain without being overcome by fear or being deflected from a chosen course of action. Many waray-waray traditions can be traced to pre-colonial times. For example, the Kuratsa dance is a very popular traditional dance of waray-waray and at many social gatherings, especially weddings. It is very common throughout the summer. The couple who dances the Kuratsa is showered with money by the people around them. The tribal Waray believe in many deities or diwata. There were almost 50 gods or goddesses in Waray mythology for everything from rainbow, greediness, time, flying creatures, and poison to different worlds. There were also many rituals since they believed there were spirits in everything around them. Fiestas are celebrated with prayer, food, drinking dance, and music.
Bahal na bukas, waray-waray, manigas, waray-waray, tawag sa akon, sa bakbakan, didik mag-urong, sa sinuman, ay humahamon, kahit ikaw ay maton, likas sa ating paraluman, kining palagi mapagbigay, ngunit iba ang waray-waray, walang sindak kanino man, kaming babaeng waray-waray, ay siga-siga kahit saan, pagkat kami ay lumalaban, kapag hinamon ang away, waray-waray, hindi katakas, waray-waray, handang matola, waray-waray, bahal na utak, waray-waray, maniga. Waray-waray sa jalitan tatas, waray-waray handa naman todas, waray-waray kahala na bukas, waray-waray manigas, waray-waray sa jalitan tatas, waray-waray handa naman todas, waray-waray bahala na bukas, waray-waray manigas, likas sa ating paraluman, kiming palagi mapagbigay, ngunit iba ang waray-waray, walang sindak kanino man, kaming babaeng waray-waray, ay siga-siga kahit saan, pagkat kami ay lumalaban, kapag hinamon ang away, waray-waray, hindi katakas, waray-waray, handang matudas, waray-waray, bahal na utak, waray-waray, manigas. Waray-waray, manigas.
Next is Kaloyanon tribe. Kaloyanon found in the Kaloya Islands of Antique province in the western Visayas. The Kaloyanons are among the smallest ethnic groups in Visayas, with around 30,000 natives. Their language is Kaloyanon, but many of The natives speak in Hiligaynon as their second language. Kaluyanon, also spelled Kaluyanon, is a dialect of Kinaraya language and spoken in the Kaluya Islands, Antique, in the Philippines. Most of its speakers use Hiligaynon as their second language. Hiligaynon is the everyday language of Antiqueños, although they are also fluent in Tagalog, English, and some other Visayan language. According to a recent survey, around 30,000 people can speak Kaloyanon. This is the alphabet of Kaloyanon. Kaluya Antique is so abundant in coconut crabs that a tourism festival was named after this highly prized terrestrial crab, the Tattoo Sun Festival. This celebration highlights a colorful parade of crab-shaped floats, street dancing in boats showcasing nonetheless tattoos. The festival celebrates the culture and tradition of the town as well as highlight the abundance of coconut crab in the area. Kaluya Island is famous for its white and pinkish beaches, different kinds of edible seaweeds and coconut crabs, and a very exotic marine life. Next is Capisnon tribe. Capisnon is derived from the word capis, a seashell used to make square panes for windows, and obtained from the mollusk Flacona placenta, in the suffix "nan" or people. They bought the island, which is Panay, from the Itas, the natives, and cultivated the land. They renamed the island to Madjaas. Madjaas was divided into three communities: Hamtik, Antique, Irong-Irong, Iloilo, and Akian, Aklan, and Capiz. Capisnon is concentrated in the province of Capiz, in the northeast of Panay Island. Four provinces includes Iloilo, Capiz, Antique, and Aklan. Capisnon kinship system follows the general Philippine pattern, relationships being traced along both paternal and maternal lines, with terms of address for each member of the family. Marriage arrangements follow traditional parental approval and arrangements, and a ceremony called pamalayi o pabalayon. The early Panayanon believed in many gods. Bulalakaw, a bird which looked like a peacock and could cause illness, was said to live in the island's sacred mountain called Madjaas. A sheep goddess was believed to reside in the mountain of the nearby island of Negros Occidental. She was called Laon, after whom Mount Canlaon is named. Mediators to the gods, also said to be the first priest, were Bangot Banwa who prayed for the god harvest in an orderly universe. Magindalon who interceded for sick persons and prayed for the punishment of enemies. And Suliran and Sulian who performed marriage ceremonies. Manonobo was the good spirit of the sea. Belief in the power of Babaylan, priest and priestess, has not completely disappeared either, although their number has dwindled. In pre-Christian times, the Babaylan played an important political, social, religious, and cultural role. They were advisors to datus and the spiritual and physical healers of the community. The Capisnon people belong to a larger group called Visayan, and the Capisnon language is a subclassification of Visayan language. It is closely related to Hiligaynon, 91% of which Capisnon speakers comprehend. Capisnon possessive pronouns are formed by the addition of T prefix to Hiligaynon, Kinaraya, and Aklanon pronounced thus: T akon. T. Aton, we inclusive. T. Amon, we exclusive. T. Imo, you. I. Inu, you, plural. T. Iya, he or she. And T. Ila, they. The next one is Kinaraya tribe. Kinaraya are people or part of a wider Visayan ethno-linguistic group, which the largest ethno-linguistic group. The name Kinaraya refers to both the ethnic group and their language that are concentrated in the provinces of Antique and Iloilo. It is derived from the word Iraya, means upstream, and known as the language of Sakada and the Muchachu. It is located in San Jose, the province of Antique, located in the western Visayas region. Is home to the Kinaraya or Karaya people. It is one of the 5 provinces comprising Region 6. Antique is bounded by the rugged central mountains of Panay, as well as the provinces of Capiz, Ondicast, Aklan in the northeast, Iloilo in southeast, and finally the Sulusi on the west. Antique can be reached via land travel from Iloilo or Aklan, where Boracay Island, the Philippines' most famous beach destination, is located. Most Kinaraya engage in agriculture as well as in cottage industries. Several towns in Antique have the distinction of producing quality ware ranging from Salakot and Sawali from Bilisan, bamboo craft from San Jose, ceramics from Sivalom, pottery from Bandoja, Tibiao, mats from Pandan and Libertad, and loom-woven patajong barrel skirt from Bagtason, Bugasong, the only one of its kind in the Visayas and well known throughout Panay. Music such as courtship songs, wedding recitals is well developed as it is with dance. Here are the clothing of the Kinaraya people. Since Hiligaynon developed as lingua franca and adopted as the language of businesses in Panay, most Kinaraya speakers and writers were forced to use Hiligaynon. Although there is an ample number of written Kinaraya literature in the last decades, majority of those works were unpublished and hard to find. Even the authenticity of Kinaraya speaker is questionable, as the Karaya have been grouped with Hiligaynon. While the two languages have many similarities, they are distinct in several ways, such as the usage of letter R in Kinaraya, which is replaced with I in Hiligaynon. Hence, the word harigi means post in Kinaraya is haligi in Hiligaynon language. Sama Abaknon. The Abaknon or Kapul Samal Kapulino live in the island of Kapul of the northern tip of Samar in the San Bernardino Straits, south the province of Sorsogon. Although set across the central Philippines from Sulu and Tawi-Tawi archipelagos where the Sama group live. The Abaknon speak a language that is related to the Sama, and not the language of the people about them like Bicol and Waray. The largest concentrations of this population are in northern Samar, 8,840, and in Kapol, 8,735, with a total population of some 9,870, according to National Statistics Office. The orientation of the people is marine with a basic industry focused on fishing, with rice farming toward the interior. The primary religion practiced by Abaknon Sama is Roman Catholicism, the largest branch of Christian church and one of the oldest religious institutions in the world. Roman Catholicism teaches that it is the one true churches found by Jesus Christ and that its bishops are the successors of Christ. Festival. island town introduced the Abaknon Festival as part of the celebration for the feast of our patron saint, Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Abaknon is the name that collectively embraces all the residents of the island of Kapol who share a unique dialect and simple lifestyle. Inabaknon is not classified as part of the Visayan language family, but is rather grouped with the Sama-Bajau languages. Inabaknon is a member of Sama-Bajau branch of the Malayo-Polynesian language family. It is spoken by about 26,000 people mainly in eastern Visayas region of the Philippines, particularly on the island of Kapol and northern Samar. Here are the few examples of the term. We have here the English term and a Baknon term. Good morning, mahalap nalong. Good afternoon, mahalap na odto. Good evening, mahalap sangko. The primary language is Inabaknon. There is a sample text and its translation in English. Ibong to si Abaknon Tagkapol ada isla si Pilipinas. Akaanet to si San Bernardino Strait nga pagkabulagan na si Luzon pati Samar. Seray nga raonan to dahulo abal tungod si primero mang aamanakata ato antis padaito i mga Kastila. Which means the town of Abaknon or Kapol is an island of the Philippines. It can be found in San Bernardino Strait that separates Luzon and Samar. Long ago, it was first named as Abac because of the people to arrive here before the coming of the Spanish.
So good morning everyone, I'm Stephanie Zarcedias. We're discussing about Bantoanon tribe. The name Bantoanon comes from the island of Banton in Romblon province where they live, but some Bantoanons came from the islands of Simara and Sibale. So, the Bantoanons or people from Banton Island actually resides mostly in Onjongan, Corquera, Calatrava, and Concepcion in Romblon, an archipelagic province in the Mimaropa region. Culture and traditions. Burial practice. Bantoanon ancestors practice secondary burial in established burial caves, mostly in Guyangan. They also used burial cloth to wrap the dead. Pailig means patiently getting the container filled with water from a not so abundant source. Pailig then has taught townsfolk with the value of patience. So, religion and language of Bantoanon is, religion is the primary religion practiced by Bantoanon is Roman Catholicism. The language, their primary language is Bantoanon. The Bantoanon speak a local dialect called Asi. So, flores, the daily flower offering during May is probably the most colorful in the country. If not in the whole world, time, effort, and heart are embedded. Biray, this is the fluvial parade in honor of the town's patron saint. It is a religious tradition introduced by the Spanish friars to areas near the sea or body of water. Sanrocan is probably the best known tradition. This is the simple act of sharing a bowl of suya or inaslom to neighbor and is still practiced today even outside of the island. Festival of Bantoanon. San Juan Festival, the feast day of Saint John the Baptist, is usually characterized by high tide, perfect time for swimming for the folks in the island town. Let's move on to Boholano tribe. The people of Bohol are said to be the descendants of the last group of inhabitants who settled in the Philippines called Pindatos or Tattooed Ones. Boholanos had already a culture of their own as evidenced by the artifact dug of Mansasa, Tagbilaran City, and in Dawis and Panglao. So, sabi dito, yung mga tao sa Bohol ay sinasabing mga ina po ng huling grupo ng mga naninirahan sa Pilipinas. So, na tinatawag na Pindatos or Tattooed Ones. Bohol is derived from the native word Bool. The island was the seat of the first international treaty of peace and unity between the native King Dato Sikatuna and Spanish conquistador Miguel Lopez de Legazpi on March 16, 1565 through a blood compact alliance known today by many Filipinos as the Sandugo. Boholano is derived from the name of the province. So, itong native Dato Sikatuna was a Dato or chieftain of the Bool Kingdom or tinatawag na Kidatuan or Kidatuan of the Pitan in the island of Bohol in the Philippines. When the Spanish came to the island, the conquistador Miguel Lopez de Legazpi and Sikatuna entered the Treaty of Friendship known as the Sandugo or Blood Compact. So this historical event marked the Spanish colonization in the island under the Spanish rule. They are mainly concentrated in Bohol, although some also live in southern Leyte and Mindanao, or mainly in the northeastern portion. Boholano is a variant of the Cebuano language spoken in the island province of Bohol in the Visayas, and the major portion of southern Leyte, as well as parts of Mindanao, particularly in northern Mindanao and Caraga. So this is the language of Cebuano. So I understand, ibig sabihin is kasabot ko. I know, kahibalo ko. Mini, it means daghan. Beach or sea, it means dagat. Water, tubig. Food, pagkaon. Let's go, tara na. I want, gusto ko. You, ikaw. What it means, unsa. When, it means kanusa. Where, it means asa. And who, it means kinsa or kinsana. Bohol Festival and Fest Days are part and parcel of Boholano culture. Boholanos are fun-loving, generous to a fault, and deeply religious. These traits push them to celebrate and put up festivals aside from the yearly honoring of saints in respective towns and barangays of the province. So, ito yung mga festival na nagaganap sa kanila. So, ito naman yung Sandugo Festival. The Sandugo Festival is an annual historical celebration that takes place every year in Tagbilaran City on the island of Bohol in the Philippines. This festival commemorates the Treaty of Friendship between Datuk Sikatuna, a chieftain in Bohol, and Spanish conquistador Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. This 16th century peace treaty occurred on March 16, 1565 through a blood compact or Sandugo. And this is Saolog Festival. Aside from infamous Sandugo Festival, the Saolog Festival is one festivity that Boholanos look forward to every year. One of the major incomes of Boholanos is farming. Since Bohol has limited job offers in terms of industry, some Boholanos will emigrate to the cities and look for their fortune. And every month of May, all Boholanos from different places will go home to celebrate fiesta. It is the Boholanos' tradition that every fiesta they will go back to their home for celebrating fiesta, and it is their time for family reunion. So let's move on to Cebuano tribe. The Cebuano people, or mga Sugbuanon, constitute about 1/5 of the population of the Philippines and are the second largest ethno-linguistic group in the country. Cebu has one of the most colorful and world-renowned festivals in the Philippines, and they celebrate it with excitement and high spirits. Cebu celebrates different festivals in different towns and cities, and they celebrate fiestas with religious rituals and dancing in the streets to the beat of the drums. So, the Cebuanos observe certain customs and traditions about birth, baptism, courtship, marriage, death, and burial. The coming of the child is welcomed by a Cebuano family, for it is about to give birth. Pomelo leaves are placed under the house so as to drive away all evil spirits which may be hovering around. So, ito yung dahon ng pomelo. So, I think iba sa inyo ay nakakaalam about dito sa pomelo leaves na to. So, belief and practices. After the child is born, the placenta is buried at the seashore to ensure the baby's good health. It is a sign of good luck when the firstborn is a boy. For the baby's first haircut, some pieces of hair is saved and inserted in a prayer book to make the child a wide reader when he grows up. So, Cebuanos believe that people should not sweep the floor when a family member dies, for it might cause the death of other family members. So, isa din ito. Based on my experience. Sinaolog Festival, 3rd Sunday of January, people shout Viva Pete Señor. The Sinulog is Cebu City's most popular and grandest festival. It is celebrated every 3rd Sunday of January in honor of the Senior Santo Niño. Foreign and local tourists flock to Cebu City for this celebration and join in the procession and the grand Mardi Gras parade.
Celebrate Cebu, celebrate Cebu, and islands of exciting things for me and for you. Celebrate Cebu, celebrate Cebu, a never-ending festivity. Let's dance and be happy. I love Cebu. I love Cebu. Oh, 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 oh,
the 19th of January, Tagbo Festival, it is celebrated every January in honor of Patron Santo Niño de Poro. Beloved memoir of a living past, Tagbo is the cornerstone rather, from which this great municipality has sprung. Rich in cultural heritage and deep in spiritual values, Tagbo is a very significant event precluding the birth of a town very dear to the hearts of her sons and daughters. Budbud Festival. 10th of February, the town of Katmon is famous for its tasty budbud, and thus is the focus of the festival. The street dancing competition is participated by the different barangays has its dance movements. The movement of making the budbud with the costumes in budbud concept. Kawayan Festival, 2nd of December. Kawayan is the vernacular term for bamboo, and it is the major livelihood income in Alegria. The street dancing competition is based on the Kawayan and is slated during the town's fiesta in honor of Saint Francis Xavier. Last week of June, Palawod is the fishermen's daily toil, their means of livelihood, their life, and pride. The street dancing captures and preserves the Bantayanons' unique traditional fishing rituals inherent to the island through dancing, music, and the visual arts. So let's move on to Skaya tribe. Skaya tribe is one of the less visited places in Bohol. They are an indigenous group found in the towns of Duero, Guindalman, Sierra, Bolunes, and Pilar. The tribe has its own distinct culture, literature, and language. The most common settlement of this tribe is located in Barangay Taytay, Duero, Bohol. The Skaya tribe is located on Bohol, an island in the southern Philippines. According to the last census in 2000, it had a population of around 3,000. They live in a few villages in the mountains and along. The Skaya, less commonly known as the Visayan Iskaya, is the collective name for the members of a cultural minority found in Bohol, Philippines, which is distinguished by its cultural heritage, particularly its literature, language, dress, and observances. Skaya literature was first dictated for transcription by Mariano Datahan, whose words were recorded by personal scribes. These texts, which comprise local oral history and religion folklore, have sometimes been referred to by journalists as the karaang mga libro or old books. So traditionally, women were not permitted to cut their hair short, nor wear trousers, and drinking and dancing were universally prohibited. For the most part, these customs have been discontinued. However, traditional dress is sometimes worn on Sundays and special occasions. Formerly, Skaya men would wear shirts made of peña raffia with a Chinese-style collar, black breeches, and cotton berets. Women wore peña dresses with bulging sleeves similar to the Spanish-influenced Boholano style, and covered their hair with cotton habits, mostly in Taytay. So, yun yung mga sinusuot ng mga taga-Skaya. Skayan is an artificial auxiliary language of Skaya, people of Bohol, an island province of the Philippines. It is grammatically Boholano, the native language of Bohol, with a substituted lexicon. While Skayan has no mother tongue speakers, it is taught by volunteers in at least 3 cultural schools in the southeast interior of the province. The earliest acumen in Skaya professionally dates from 1908 and was on display at the Bohol Museum until September 2006. So, ito yung language na ginagamit ng Skaya. The celebration of Kalipay Festival or Happiness Festival is held on every 8th day of September, the birthday of Mama Mary. In line with this Skaya, Scouts join the grandest celebration. So let's move on to Hiligaynon tribe. Hiligaynon is the fourth largest language of the Philippines, representing approximately 10% of the national population. Its 7 million speakers are located throughout Negros Occidental, southern eastern Panay, Guimaras Island, and in urban centers of Mindanao or Davao and Zamboanga, and of Palawan, Puerto Princesa. It is a major trade language of the Western Visayan region. Hiligaynon, often referred to as Ilonggo, is an Austronesian language spoken in the Western Visayas region of the Philippines. Long before the 1600, the fertility of the Western Visayas region in the Philippines permitted the Hiligaynon people to develop one of the archipelago's most advanced societies. They engage in international trade, or as evidenced by large finds of Chinese porcelain, and created fine work in gold and semi-precious stones. Large-scale sugar production for the world market created small groups, of whom were mestizo or mixed race. They enjoyed an opulent lifestyle on vast plantations. With a drop in the price of sugar in the 1980s and 1990s, the region entered a step economic decline. So, yung pronunciation ng Hiligaynon is Helegaynon, alternate name of Ilonggo. So, did you know the term Hiligaynon is said to be Hispanized construction of the phrase Manug-ilig sangkawayan or bamboo floaters, meaning people whose occupation was to float bamboo poles downriver to sell as building materials. Geographically and culturally, the heartland of Hiligaynon area lies along both sides of the broken strait separating Panay and Negros. The coastal cities of Iloilo on the former and Bacolod on the latter serve as economic and as administrative centers for the region. Most Hiligaynon, however, live in small rural barrios where the main economic activity is farming or occasionally fishing. Hiligaynon is mainly concentrated in the regions of Western Visayas, Iloilo, Capiz, Guimaras, and Negros Occidental, as well as in South Cotabato including General Santos, Sultan Kudarat, and North Cotabato in Sargen. Citizens of Iloilo and Bacolod love good company, good ambience, and good meal. For this reason, their get-togethers usually last for hours, with dinners sometimes extended until past midnight. They love to catch up with old friends and keep themselves updated, which is easy when everyone knows everyone else. Like their food, the Spanish influence is still strong in their way of life. They enjoy naps in the afternoon called siestas and are prayerful and family oriented. Violating norms such as insulting spiritual mediums will earn gaba, supernatural punishments. Those who humiliate others will suffer the same amount of humiliation in turn, called ulen. So, tumbang patis is a popular with both boys and girls, involves two or more children throwing rocks at a tin can while someone who is it watches watches the can, putting it back in a place when hit. If a player is caught retrieving the stone he or she has thrown, or he or she becomes it. Other popular games include gun fighting with bamboo pop guns, battle, and spider fighting. So, clothing. For field work, men wear worn out short pants and often go shirtless. On formal occasions, however, they wear long pants, shirts, and shoes. Otherwise, they go barefoot. In married women, wear either a bestida or dress or patadyong or tube skirt with a blouse. Traditional weaving is nearly extinct but was thriving industry before the 19th century import of British manufactured clothes. For mangalap or magical protection, many older men wear tattoos, a crucifix, initials, or female figures. At the time of the Spanish arrival, all the people living in the Visayan region wore elaborate tattoos, earning them the name Pindatos, the paint or the painted ones, from their conquerors. Hiligaynon is a member of the Visayan branch of the Central Philippines language family. In 2010, there were about 9.3 million native speakers of Hiligaynon, and a further 5 million people spoke it as a second language. Hiligaynon is spoken mainly in the Iloilo province on Panay Island in the western Visayas region of the Philippines. So, ito yung mga Ilonggo tutorial ng Hiligaynon. Yung namit man, sige na bala, maupod ka, makauntaan ay, tuod ka. Yun yung mga tutorial language ng Hiligaynon. So, dinagyang is a Hiligaynon word that means merrymaking, just like the Sinulog and Ati-Atihan festivals. Festivities in the Philippines that celebrate the fest of the Santo Niño and the pact between the Datus and locals. Every 4th of Sunday of January, the festival transforms the Iloilo City into a massive street party with overflowing drinks and foods. The most exciting part is that the city hosts a highly competitive Dinagyang Festival, contest, and grand float parades. So, let's move on to Magahat tribe. Magahat are also known as Atiman or Bugiman, but technically, Magahats belong with the ill-defined group of people. Tell us nothing about their ethnic identifies. Dr. Timothy S. Oracion, his findings revealed that the Magahat people is separate. Distinct group with established social boundaries different from its neighbors, the Bukidnon. There are conflicting claims as to the existence of Magahat as an indigenous group in southern Negros, continued to backload the issue up to the present, that the indigenous groups in the mountain areas of southern Negros are Magahat has to some extent become controversial and debatable. Magahat is located in Negros Island of Visayas, especially found in southwestern Negros, Santa Catalina, Bayawan, and Shaton in Negros Oriental. Language of Magahat. Their language is mixture of Hiligaynon and Sugbuhanon. Magahat major means of subsistence are food gathering, sweden agriculture, and animal hunting. They harvest main crops such as mountain rice, maize, manioc, and sweet potato. Gathering fruits, vegetables, and root crops have become their main food resource. While gathering is considered a regular activity, hunting wild pigs, birds, and bats was seen as one of their important and leisure activities, the most popular game of men. Belief, cultural, and traditional practices of Magat. The Magahats live in the mountains of Basay, near rivers and streams with houses made from the forest materials. Their houses are simple without partition and decorated with hanging skulls of the animal horns and weapons. The Magahat believe in spirits like most Bisayans. They use anting-anting to fight evil spirits, death. However, it is not feared by the Magahats. They believe that it is just a journey from Earth to the other side of the world. Tattooing is a skill among the Magahats. Their art is reflected in the weapons and jewelry they make. So, Purahanon tribe. The Purahanon of the Philippines, numbering 43,500, are engaged yet unreached. They are part of the Filipino tribal people cluster within the Malay People's Affinity Bloc. This people group is only found in the Philippines. Their primary language is Porohanon. The primary religion practiced by the Porohanon is Roman Catholicism, the largest branch of the Christian Church and one of the oldest religious institutions in the world. So, Roman Catholicism teach that it is the one true churches founded by Jesus Christ and that its bishops are the successors of Christ. Porohanon located in the Poro Island of Cebu. They are a minor Visayan ethnic group. They primarily speak the Porohanon language with Cebuano as the second. The two languages have few similarities with each other, but the Porohanon is closer to Hiligaynon language. Porohanon is distinguished from the means by which the locals substitute J sounds with Z. For instance, Cebuano, maayong buntag, or it means good morning, vocalized as mauzong buntag in Porohanon. Other variation contains the Porohanon, ara dira instead of the regular Cebuano, naa diha. So, this is the vowels and consonants of Porohanon. One of the festivals celebrated in Camotes Island is the Tagbo Festivals. The festival is celebrated in the month of January and is held in honor of the patron of the town of Poro, the Santo Niño. While the Sinulog may be considered as grandest festival honoring the Santo Niño, the Tagbo Festival of Poro in Camotes equally colorful, albeit on a smaller scale.
The farmers from the east, Tag-Anito, now Todela Town, and the fishermen from the west, Mactang Esperanza, decided that they will walk at the same time at dawn, going towards each other to unite and live peacefully. The place where they converge is what is known today as Poro. Tagbo Festival sa lungsod sa Poro.
Ato kining yuta. Alang sa kalinaw ug panaghiusa, magtagbo kita! Ang tagbo.
Aita. The Aitas are dwellers in highlands are powerful people who appear to be a mixture of Negritos and Malays. As occupants of the headwaters of Davao, Tuganay, and Buganon rivers, the Aitas depend primarily on hunting as their livelihood. The Aitas, also known for being sensitive and vindictive, but can be easily pacified if handled with utmost diplomacy. Sidia Andag and 77 others like this, Lasang River is traversing the ancestral domain of Ata tribe in Paquibato District, Davao City. The Ata Manobo of Davao del Norte, originally called Aita, believe that they originated from Paquibato, Davao City. Thus, as ancestral domain of the Aita Manobo covers portion of the municipalities of Capalong, San Isidro, Santo Tomas, and Talaginod. Bagobo. The Bagobo constitute one of the largest groups among the indigenous people of southern Mindanao. Bagobo are the predominant inhabitants of the vast areas extending from the west coast of Davao Gulf to the high reaches of Davao's famous and significant mountain range of Mount Apo or Apo Sandawa to the tribal people. Bagobo tribe known for are considered the most colorful people of the Philippines, heavily embroidering their abaka clothing with their beads and stitchwork. They also produce fine metal craft working in brass, bronze, and iron, and are known for their betel boxes. The Bagobo are a settled people practicing agriculture as well as hunting and fishing. Their chief crop is rice, which they grow in clearings on the mountainside. Since this grain is their staple food, the whole routine of its cultivation is most closely bound up with their religious beliefs and practices. Bagobo lives in the very mountainous region between the upper Pulangi and Davao rivers on Mindanao in the Philippines, whereas the coastal Bagobo once lived in the hills south and east of Mount Apo. The culture and beliefs of Bagobo believe in a supreme being who inhabits the sky world as well as a deity who brings sickness and death to incestuous couples. The Bagobo are also known for their long epic poems, Tuwaang. And the language of Bagobo is Tagabawa. It is spoken in Cotabato and Davao del Sur province and on the slopes of Mount Apo, west of Davao City. The language is spoken by the Bagobo Tagabawa people. Mamanwa. The Mamanwa are nomadic in nature, relying on hunting and gathering to survive and grow minimal crops such as yams to supplement their foraging activities. The Manobo subsistence pattern is, on the other hand, semi-nomadic, relying mainly on shifting agriculture with hunting and gathering as supplementary activities. What is Mamanwa tribe in Mindanao? The term Mamanwa means first forest dwellers, derived from man first and Banwa forest. They were already roaming the forest of Jabonga, Quicharao, and Santiago when the Manobo arrived in the area. The Manobo is the largest ethnic family in the Philippines. Where is Mamanwa tribe located? Mindanao, Agusan del Norte province, latest subsistence, Sweden's agriculture in small patches, some wet rice, heavy reliance on food gathering. Where did Mamanwa originate? The Mamanwa, just like the other Negrito groups of the Philippines, originates from the first human inhabitants to reach the Philippines on foot as far as 50,000 years ago. What is Mamanwa known for? Socio-political system. The system is informal one, a product of significant Mamanwa traits such as frankness and lack of desire to power and influence for self-interest. Generally, Mamanwas are peace-loving people. The band can be considered as a democratic people organization. What is the dialect is Mamanwa. The Mamanwa language is a central Philippines language spoken by the Mamanwa people. It is spoken in the province of Agusan del Norte and Surigao del Norte in the Lake Mainit area of Mindanao, Philippines. It had about 5,000 speakers in 1990. They also have the issues in Mamanwa tribe. What are the issues of Mamanwa tribe? Mamanwa mainly rely on shifting agriculture with hunting and gathering forest resources. These natural resources are no longer sufficient to support their livelihood needs of their family. Thus, Mamanwa tribe has difficult way of living and is financially hard up due to no permanent work. Mangwangan. Mangwangans are known to practice ethno-religion, which is a type of religion that is deeply rooted in the people's ethnic identity. To practice ethno-religion by Mangwangans is to completely immerse oneself in the tribe's culture, which further means to learn their lumad ways. Mangwangan is one of the oldest tribes in the Philippines, and they are somehow unreachable nowadays due to the few numbers of the tribe. Where is Mangwangan tribe located? The Mangwangan makes up the indigenous people living in the Cordillera Sugot Mountains in Mindanao, estimated to reach 3,488 in numbers in 1987. They are scattered up to the Great Lakes of Wayan or Maguindanao and in the territory between what is occupied by the Manobo and the Mandaya in Davao and South Cotabato. Mandaya. The Mandaya or Mansaka are famous for their distinctive costumes and ornamentation, which involves tie-dyed textiles and embroidery using a sophisticated system of symbols with name motifs, bead work, and silver craft are also well developed. The native racial tribe Mandaya is concentrated in the whole east coast of Mindanao, particularly the whole Davao Oriental area of the present times. The Mandaya are proud of their culture and heritage. The Mandayas are an honorable people, peace-loving, respectful, docile, submissive, and patient. Where in Davao is the Mandaya tribe located? The Mandaya tribe originates from Davao del Sur. They are known for their intricate embroidery and sewing techniques. Mandaya in Mindanao. Mandaya in Mindanao derives from the prefix man meaning inhabitant of and daya meaning upstream or upper portion of a river and therefore means people living upstream. It refers to a number of groups found along the mountain range of Davao Oriental, Davao del Norte, and Surigao del Sur, as well as to their customs. The traditional clothing of Mandaya, heirloom piece that pieces that Mandaya women proudly wear are the pamulang made of either white or black sea corals and are thus no longer produced these days in the patina, a breastplate that is worn by affluent Mandaya women. The skirt is called the saya and is made of dagmay woven abaka. Banwaon. Their tribes are also exhibit a strong oral tradition. The Banwaons have stories depicting war and heroes passed on orally. This includes Tobom, which is a series of sacred verses which can be done to ask for blessings, peace and institution of new shifting, thanksgiving, and a prayer for the departed. The Banwaon tribe can be found in Agosan del Sur. It is also the second largest group in the area. Their name literally means mountain people and they subsequently inhabit the forests of Agosan del Sur. They are traditionally nomadic, but they were forced to settle because of the onslaught of civilization. The language of Banwaon are speakers of the Agosan Manobo language consisting of the Umayam, Adgawan, Surigao, and Umayam known dialects. Also similar to most language in the Philippines, it is under of Malayo-Polynesian family of language. This faithfully traditional people used to nomadic. Bukidnon. The Bukidnons is an ethnic tribe in north-central Mindanao whose ancestors were the aborigines of the coastal place of what is now the province of Misamis Oriental. Clotet, 1889. Their major means of subsistence are food gathering and Sweden agriculture. The Bukidnon, also known as Bukidnon, is also labeled as the highland paradise in the heart of Mindanao. While it derived its name from the Visayan term Bukid for mountain, it is predominantly a rolling glassland plateau with an average elevation of 915 meters. The meaning of Bukidnon tribes. The term Bukidnon, mountain dweller, was derived from the Cebuano language, but nowadays it is accepted by the most members of the ethnic group referred to. There are 7 different tribes in the province, namely Talaandig, Higaonon, Bukidnon, Umayamnon, Matigsalog, Manubo, and Tegwahon.
Tribal Filipino groups, Kalagan. The Kalagan live between the coast in the Bilaan country in Davao province and along the tributaries of the Manita, the East, and Talaguton rivers. They have traditionally live in a small warring groups and present corn which can be cropped 2 or 3 times a year, is gradually supplanting rice as the staple crop. Ang tribo ng Kalagan ay nakatira sa pagitan ng baybayin ng Bilaan sa lalawigan ng Davao. Ang pangunahing nakasanayan na nila dito na pamumuhay is yung pagtatanim. Takagan or Kalagan people are known as agriculturists cultivating rice, corn, abaka, and coconut for cash crops. Those who are living near the coast practice fishing. Ang tribo rin daw po ng Kalagan ay kilala sa tawag na mga agriculturist. Manobo tribe is culturally rich in traditional practices, medicinal uses, diversity, and traditional knowledge based on their community plant resources.
They dwell in hinterlands and mountainous regions in the southern part of the Philippines and live an intricate life dependent on agriculture and forest plants. Ang Manubo tribe or ang tribo ng Manubo is matatagpuan sa Surigao del Sur. Ang Manubo tribe ay mayaman sa kultura, sa mga traditional na kasanayan. Then, sila ay naninirahan din sa hinterland at sa mga bulubunduking rehiyon sa kalimugang bahagi ng Pilipinas. Namumuhay din sila ng masalimuot na nakadepende sa agrikultura o mga halaman sa kagubatan. Next is Subanon. Subanon, the tribe has no religion, although it is believed that they had a holy book at one time. In marriage, the parents of the man look for a woman who will marry, in both sets of parents set the wedding date. Polygamy and polyandry are practiced, but separation is not allowed, nor is marrying nearest relatives. So, ayun. Ang Subanon or ang tribo ng Subanon ay walang reyon, bagamat pinaniniwalaan na sila ay nagkakaroon ng banal na aklat sa isang panahon. Pagdating naman sa pagpapakasal, ang mga magulang ng lalaki ang naghahanap ng babaeng papakasalan para sa kanilang anak. Kumbaga sa side ng lalaki yung nagdidesisyon. At parehong set din ng magulang ang nagtatakda kung kailan ang pitsa ng kasal. Ang poligamya at polyandry ay ginagawa, ngunit hindi pinapayagan ang paghihiwalay at hindi rin ang pag-aasawa ng pinakamalapit na kamag-anak. Ang tribo ng Subanon ay matatagpuan sa malapit sa northern, western, and southern portion of the Zamboanga Peninsula. Tibuli. The Tibuli, with their embroidered costumes and beaded ornaments, bangles, bracelets, and brass-length belts, are one of the most colorful of all Filipino groups. They are renowned for their tie-dyed abaca cloth and metal industry, including intricate lost wax brass casting. And Tibuli believe a spirit or force lives in all objects, animate and inanimate. The Tibuli make offerings, including bracelets, to the spirits of rivers and forest. The spirit of rivers and forest parents will place a sword by the sleeping two children to protect them from evil spirits. Folk tales often feature talking crabs, horses, or other animals. So, ayun po, ang ibig sabihin po ng Tibuli, ang tribo na ito is kasama sa ang kanilang kasuotan is may mga borda at kanilang itong pinapalamutian ng makukulay na kasuotan. Ang kultura ng Tibuli, ang pinaniniwalaan nila is yung kasabihang ang isang espiritu o persa ay nabubuhay sa lahat ng bagay, may buhay man at walang buhay. Example nito is yung sa may mga magulang, yung kumbaga yung kultura nila, kapag natutulog yung kanilang mga anak, nilalagyan nila ng espada. Kasi naniniwala sila sa kasabihan na kapag naglalagay sila ng espada, is yun yung pamprotekta nila sa kanilang mga anak para hindi ito para maprotektahan ito sa masasamang espiritu. Next is tribe of Tagakaulo. Tagakaulo. The Tagakaulo tribe originates from Davao del Sur. They are skilled in basket weaving, embroidery, loom weaving, blanket weaving, headdresses, beaded necklaces, and others. They make their jackets out of abaca and decorated them with mother of pearl discs lined with glass beads. This is the culture and tradition of Tagakaulo. Ang tribong Tagakaulo ay nagmula sa Davao del Sur. Sila ay bihasa sa paghahabi ng basket, pagbuburda, paghahabi ng mga kumot, kwintas na may beaded at iba pa. Ginagawa nila ang kanilang mga jacket mula sa abaka at pinalamutian ito ng mga perlas na may linyang mga butil ng salamin. Ang tagakaulo ay nangangahulugang mga naninirahan sa dulo ng ilog. Tribe of Talaandig. The local knowledge of Talaandig people was derived from oral history and traditions. These traditions include religious rituals, dances, songs, and music, epic traditions, folk tales, games, handicrafts, and customary mediation. Ang tribo ng Talaandig, ito yung kanilang kultura at tradisyon. Ang relihiyosong ritual, kinahiligan nila ay yung pagsasayaw, kanta. Milig sila sa kwentong bayan, sa paglalaro, handicraft, ganyan. So, isa pa, ang Talaandig din is tinatawag or mas kilala sila sa tawag na the native name for Bukidnon. Talaandig derives from talaan, which is talaan, niyang nakaano siya sa word na mark, and yung word na andig sa Talaandig is worth emulating. Tiruray or Tiduray tribe. Tidurays are famous for their craftsmanship in weaving basket with two-tone geometric designs, while many have adopted the cultures of neighboring Muslims and Christians people. A high percentage of their population still believe and practice their indigenous customs and rituals. Ang tribo ng Tiduray ay sikat sila sa kanilang craftsmanship sa paghabi ng mga basket na may two-tone geometric na disenyo. Bagamat marami ang nagpatibay na ang kultura na mga kalapit sa Muslim at Kristiyanong mga tao, isang mataas na porsyento ng kanilang populasyon ay naniniwala at nagsasagawa pa rin ng mga katutubong kaugalian at ritual. Itong tribo ng Tiduray or Teruray is matatagpuan ito sa southwestern Mindanao. Next is yung tribe ng Obo. The Obo are a Manobo subtribe who inhabit the more isolated mountains of southwest Cotabato in the area known as Daytal, Tabayong, as well as more southerly Davao del Sur. Known for their intricate casting, the Obo fashion fine weaponry and jewelry that they believe possess souls, making it harder for the marker to part with them. Agriculturally, they practice wethen, slash and burn farming of planting and harvesting rice, root crops, and vegetables for consumption. So, yung ibig sabihin po ng Obo, Obo tribe, Manobo subtribe na kung saan sila ay naninirahan sa mas liblib na kabundukan ng southwest Cotabato sa lugar na kilala bilang Datal, Tabayong, gayon din sa Timog Davao del Sur. Doon sila matatagpuan, yung tribo na ito. Ang Obo tribe din ay gumagawa ng magagandang armas at alahas na pinaniniwalaan nilang nagtataglay ng mga kaluluwa. Sa pang-agrikultura, nagsasagawa sila ng sweden, isang slash and burn, pagsasaka, madalas na pagtatanim at nag-aani ng palay, root at mga gulay. Then next natin ay yung Dulangan, tribo ng Dulangan. History nito is Dulangan is the name of a legendary ancestor and is said to mean a high place. Though it may be a Manobo word, Dulangan is not listed in existing Manobo dictionaries. Neither is Karagatan, which is the Tagalog term for ocean. The Dulangan Manobo do not look much different from the most Filipinos. So ayun, yung history ng Dulangan ay mayroon itong maalamat na ninuno na sinasabing nangangahulugang isang mataas na lugar. Yung kanilang culture and tradition is sila ay sumisimba or nagsasamba sa isang patio ng mga Diyos-Diyusan at nagsasagawa ng mga ritual batay sa kanilang paniniwala. Naniniwala rin sila kay Namula bilang ang pinakamataas na Diyos na lumikha ng daigdig. Ang mga Diyos ay may espiritong tagapag-alaga, mahalagang elemento sa lupa kung saan magkakaugnay ang mga katutubo. Ang location nito ng Dulangan ay matatagpuan naman ito sa Kuta, Sultan Kudarat.
Get their tattoos. We wear indigenous fabric. We marvel at their dances. In fact, we often credit them as the basis for Filipino culture. But indigenous peoples are not frozen in time. Their culture is just one aspect of their identity. They are people, living and breathing human beings caught up in real struggles. There are between 14 and 17 million indigenous peoples in the Philippines. According to the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act, or IPRA, indigenous peoples are a group of people who self-identify or are identified by others as indigenous. They live in a communally bounded and defined territory since time immemorial, sharing common bonds of language, customs, and traditions. Critically, they have resisted colonization and non-indigenous religions and cultures, thus becoming historically differentiated from the majority of Filipinos. In Mindanao, indigenous peoples are collectively known by the term Lumad. Lumad is a Binisaya word that means native or indigenous. The word can be found in John Wolfe's A Dictionary of Cebuano Visayan, published in 1972. Lumad became more commonly used in the 80s when the political movement of indigenous peoples flourished to protect their ancestral domains. Although choosing a Binisaya word was ironic, this was the first time that indigenous peoples agreed to a common and distinct name for themselves. Like the term Igorot, which refers to indigenous peoples in northern Luzon, or Moro, which refers to Islamized Filipinos in Mindanao, Lumad has come to mean the collective identity of non-Moro indigenous peoples in Mindanao. Today, over 2 decades since the passage of IPRA, the term Lumad captures the struggles of indigenous peoples. Since their lands are rich in natural resources, they are targets of large-scale development projects such as mining and plantations. These projects often put their livelihoods at risk, pollute their water sources, and often contradict their values. They say no to these projects. But saying no has a price. According to the CHR Human Rights Observatory, 81 cases related to human rights violations against indigenous peoples have been filed between 2017 and 2019 alone. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Many more atrocities have been committed against them. Iconic leader Macliing Dulag, who was killed for resisting the Chico Dam during the Marcos era, is an enduring example. Many other leaders have died, including Taboli Manobo leader Dato Victor Danyan, who had led a struggle against a large-scale coffee plantation before he was killed in 2017. Recently, Lumad children attending a Bakwit school in Cebu were allegedly rescued by the police. The police claimed that the children had been kidnapped and taught communist propaganda. Girls do not need rescuing. They are agents of their own destiny. What they need is support. To be given a chance to thrive on their own terms, following the values of the way of life they have so valiantly fought and continue to fight for.